I remember very well the very heated debate when Ireland was joining between those who felt that we might lose our sense of identity, after all, the long struggle for freedom and Irish identity, and those like me who felt we would strengthen our identity in the European Union because we were in fact too focused on our relationship with Britain and how we really saw ourselves was always in that rather negative relationship. And it was liberating to be part of the European Union. Other countries appreciated Irish culture and identity, and we were able to project a sense of Irishness. And I believe it also helped the Irish economy very much at that time. Ireland benefited in our identity, in our culture, and in our economy from membership of the European Union. We were able to participate in decisions that were going to affect us, and we were also able to benefit from the common agricultural policy and the regional policy. Growing up in a poor west of Ireland, I saw the benefits to small farmers of having secure markets for their cattle and for other produce. I saw the benefit of the roads and the infrastructure that Europe was helping to build. We shouldn't forget that without that, we would be a lot poorer during that period. I was practicing as a lawyer in the 70s when Ireland first joined, and I was able to use the European directives to bring cases for equal pay, for equality in unemployment benefit of married women, for example. And when we didn't succeed in the Irish courts, we could go to the European Court. I took a case that came from the Labour Court about women who were working for Board Telecom at the time, who couldn't get equal pay with a man. It went all the way to Europe, and when it came back, they got money in their pocket. That's what Europe meant. I think that Ireland, as a smaller state, was able to achieve a great deal. In fact, I heard complaints from some of the larger countries that Europe disproportionately favours smaller countries. We have to make sure that that continues. We have to make sure that the voices of small countries are heard. But Ireland benefited because Irish people took strong leadership positions in Europe. People like Peter Sutherland in the Commission, people like the officials who achieved, and Pat Cox in the European Parliament. I heard so many people say afterwards, Irish voices are really heard in the EU institutions. One of the great advantages for Ireland at a certain stage was the free movement to other countries in Europe, and we really appreciated that. More recently, we've seen young people coming into Ireland in the way that the Irish did. For some, that may pose some difficulty. Will they take our jobs? I believe that if we look at it in a broader sense, this has helped Ireland to become more diverse, to be enriched by these young people. That kind of movement is a very, very important part of economic development, and I think it's one of the values of our membership of the European Union. When I was serving as UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, I was very much looking globally at different regions, and within that context, the European region was by far the strongest in human rights. So I looked for support both from European countries and from the European tradition, the European Convention on Human Rights and Freedoms. I had taken cases to Strasbourg, but also the EU on cases of equality, on cases of fair employment, non-discrimination, etc. And the EU and Strasbourg courts were linking together. It was an enormous support. And countries that were applying for membership of the EU, and that's still true, were improving their human rights record so that they could satisfy European standards. And that continues to be very important. I'm very proud of my Irishness. It was the greatest honour that anybody could have to serve as President of Ireland. I'm convinced that Irishness benefits from a sense of being European. I want young Irish people to feel proudly Irish and proudly European, which means that we understand the connections and that one reinforces the other.